Did Ukraine try to unalive Vladimir Putin by sending drones to his palace? Actually, that's not the question to ask. The question is, now that this information is out, how would Russia respond? Russia also stated that their position would change in the negotiation. What does that mean? Those are the two most important questions to ask here. Whether Ukraine sent drones to unalive Putin or not doesn't matter at this point. What matters is that Russia said it happened. Is it true? Is it not true? It doesn't matter. No, because the West itself, right, the propaganda of the West, the puppets and the masters of Ukraine, they made evidence in this entire conflict useless. Ukraine conflict has been about propaganda from the very beginning. Evidence doesn't matter. Whether someone did something or not does not matter. And the West is the one that established things this way. Because you hear them now. They say, well, Ukraine didn't do it, Russia's lying, and all of that stuff. Russia's not presenting evidence. Ever since this conflict started, whatever Ukraine say is the word of God. The West doesn't want to present any evidence. As soon as Zelensky says something, they agree with him. That's how this conflict has been from the very beginning. They came up with a big lie in the very beginning of the conflict. The massacre of Bucha, for example. They put a false flag attack against Russia, claiming that Russia had massacred with the bombs, innocent people in Bucha. Everybody adopted this without a shred of evidence. A shred of evidence was not presented. For them, this is the West, right? The people of God, or God themselves. So when they say something, their words should be evidence. They've been telling you that Ukraine is killing more soldiers. They're killing more Russian soldiers. That Russian soldiers are dying like flies. In fact, the only time that Ukraine is retreating is because they're tired of killing too many soldiers. That's what makes them retreat. Not a shred of evidence, right? Russia came out and said, we have 6,000 dead Ukrainians. We're talking about soldiers. 6,000. And we would love to give them to Ukraine. How many do you have to exchange? Ukraine. Ukraine came up with 29 bodies. 29. Now keep in mind, these are the people who are killing more Russians than anything on earth. This is the first war, the first conflict where the one who is doing the most killing is the one losing. I've never heard of a conflict in this planet where the strongest army is the one losing the battles. This is first. Because the West is losing, they want you to believe this madness. Where's the evidence? Zero. They want you to just believe it. In the Kursk region, when Ukraine invaded that area, they committed all sort of atrocity in that area. Thousands of complaints were given to the Russian authority. The Russians sent it to the UN and all those bodies. They never mention it. The type of crimes that Ukrainian soldiers were committing in the Kursk region, from raping people, executing innocent people, people who were pro-Russians, you name them. They left all sort of massacre in that area. Do you think that the West ever considered that? No. Because at the time, it was a different US administration was in place. It was favorable to Ukraine. And everything Ukraine will say, they took it as word of God and, pushed it in their propaganda medias. Now the tables have turned. Now it is Russia that picks up the phone before Ukraine meets with Donald Trump. And Putin tells Donald Trump, hey, look, this is how we're going to run this little thing that you're about to do with Z, right? Tell him that this is what I say. And then once you finish, call me back. Things have changed, I tell you, man. And then, so everything we were supposed to talk about, right, in this week was how the meeting went well between Donald Trump and Zelensky, and they had a press conference. Negotiations are going well. Zelensky is pretty satisfied because he's saying that, they have agreed on more than 90 and some percent. All of a sudden, Trump called Vladimir Putin to give him the news about, their talk. And Putin tell him, look, things are not good. No. Z and his neo-Nazi wanted to kill me. We got to do something about it. And all of a sudden, Trump comes out and says, I'm angry. Messed up everything for the West. And now they're scrambling, trying to find out what happened. Well, Russia's not presenting any evidence. Ukraine on its own cannot do this. It is Western intelligence that helped them achieve that. Yeah. And the West is not going to say that Ukraine cannot do this, because then it means we have to start accusing them directly and say, oh, yeah, you're right. Ukraine is not able to do this. All right, who did it? Somewhere maybe in the US, UK. Those are the two that we're looking at. NATO basically involved. The truth doesn't matter in this conflict anymore. In fact, from the very beginning, the West made it sure that the truth will not be considered in this entire conflict. The one who has the ear of the US president is the one who has the narrative. Basically, that's what it is. Who could have imagined that the table would turn this way, where Europe and Ukraine will be on the defensive, scrambling to try to answer, oh, no, we didn't do it. Daddy Trump, no, we didn't do it. He's lying. The second thing, right, that we are learning from, this conflict, right, which is interesting, is how easily the US government can change, right? They change position like nothing. Imagine yourself when Sleepy Joe was in power. Just imagine how things would have been going on. I mean, Zelensky would probably be walking, he would have probably been the man of the year again. He would be walking around talking, trash, spending money, buying more stuff. But throughout 2025, he spent time thinking of how he's going to die, basically, because that's what's going on. He's scared of the Nazis that he's working with. He sees that Donald Trump doesn't care about him, right? He sees that Europe is useless. So he is seeing his life going to a different direction where he is right now. That is how the US government is. They don't care about allies. They will save themselves first. And of course, everybody will do that. But the US they don't even hide doing it. Right? And when you ask them about it, they say, look, that's not us. We change government. Look, Trump has his way of seeing things. If he doesn't see you guys as allies, then, well, there's nothing we can do. The third lesson we're learning from this conflict is the rules of war. We're learning that attacking a president during a war is against the rules, right? So we should appreciate the things we're learning, because when this conflict ends, we will graduate from this class, right? We will learn and we will know that real wars take time. That's number one. Wars have rules. And the third thing is that wars have changed. We are in a new world order where the West doesn't control anything anymore. Look, let me be clear about something. Zelensky, evidence doesn't matter in this war. So to waste your time trying to explain to people that you didn't do it is exactly that, a waste of time. Focus on how you will receive what is coming from Russia.